Hey guys, time to talk about crafted gear. So in Warlords, you can only equip 3 pieces of crafted gear from your garrison. So the question is, which 3 pieces do you want? Well, the first thing we have to look at are the weapon and the cloak. The tooltips for these items don't have the unique equip text that all the other items do, which means either A, it's a tooltip error and they do count towards the limit of items, or B, for whatever reason, they don't count towards the item limit. I would suspect that they do count and it's just a tooltip error, but I could be wrong, so we'll just go through both situations. No matter what happens, you're going to want the gun. Whether it counts or not, the gun's definitely going to be the best piece. The gun's your highest DPS upgrade, and you can upgrade it all the way to 665 with other items you can craft from the engineering building, which means it's going to be better than any other weapon you can get up until Blackrock. So, yeah, either way, get the gun. The cloak, you only want to get if it doesn't count. If it does count, it's not worth it. And the reason is because the helmet, chest piece, and pants are all better than the cloak. Those are going to be your next best items beyond the gun. So you're going to want helmet, chest first, and then if the gun didn't count towards the unique equipped, you're going to want the pants. I only say this because there's pant upgrades you can get from Highmall, but there's no helmet or chest upgrade until Blackrock, so you're going to have those equipped longer. Now, if the weapon doesn't count towards the limit, you can assume at that point that the cloak doesn't count either, so that's when I would craft it. I would definitely craft the cloak last. It's not going to be that big of an upgrade compared to the other pieces. Now onto the actual gear that you can craft. The first building that we're going to talk about is the engineering building. That's where you're going to craft your weapon, and there is a helmet you can craft. The second building is the leatherworking building, the tannery I think it's called. There's another helmet you can craft from there, which is equivalent to the engineering one, so it doesn't really matter which one you craft, they just look different. And then there's the chest and the pants also come from the leatherworking building. Now the cloaks, there's one from the leatherworking building and there's one from a tailoring building. That's the only thing the tailoring building offers you as far as crafted gear, so I wouldn't bother with that. So yeah, engineering first, and then leatherworking building you're going to want second in order to get your crafted gear up there. So like I said with the weapon, you can upgrade your crafted gear with items that you make in your garrison, in the respective buildings that they come from. So the gun and the engineering helmet, you can upgrade with items from the engineering building. There's 2 separate ones, one that upgrades it to 655 and another one that upgrades it to 665. And all the buildings have this, so you can upgrade all of your crafted gear to 655 and then 665. So you're definitely going to want to do this. This makes it equivalent to raid gear. So the first weapon, or the first thing you're going to upgrade is the weapon, all the way to 665. That's priority. After that, it doesn't particularly matter. The helmet, the chests, the pants, if you actually have those, if the weapon doesn't count, those are going to be your next priority. And then if the cape doesn't count, that's going to be the last priority. Okay, now we're going to talk about enchants and consumables. We'll start with enchants. So, unlike in other expansions, they dumbed down enchanting pretty hard. There's only 3 things we can enchant, at least with enchanting as a profession. It's our ring, neck, and our cloak, and there's obviously the scope still for a weapon, but engineers still make those. So they dumbed it down pretty much like this. Every spec has their attunement spell, where they get 5% of a certain secondary stat, and that's supposedly their best stat, like crit for marksmanship. So the enchants are just gift of critical strike, gift of mastery, and gift of multi-strike, and it's called the same thing for neck, ring, and cloak. So quite simply, at your marksmanship, you just use the gift of critical strikes on your cloak, ring, and neck, and you get the crit scope, because there's individual scopes for your weapon too. So I'll just put a graph up here on the screen so you can see that, yeah, gift of crit for marks, gift of mastery for BM, and then the gift of multi-strike for SV, and then the corresponding scope also. And then for gems, same thing basically. There's crit gems, mastery gems, multi-strike gems. You just want to gem all of those in your sockets. There's no socket bonuses, there's just prismatic sockets, so you can put whatever gem in your gear. So yeah, just crit gems if you're marksmanship, mastery gems if you're a beastmaster, and multi-strike if you're survival. And then for potions, there's an agility potion. It's called, quite simply, Draenic Agility Potion. Our flask is Greater Draenic Agility Flask. It is called Greater because you need an alchemist to make it. There's a lesser version you can get from your garrison, which is, I believe, 25 less of the stat. Might be 50 less. Either way, you're going to want the greater ones for rating. And lastly, for food, you can craft with your cooking profession 100 stat food for mastery, multi-strike, and crit for yourself. But to get the 100 stat feast, it's going to have to come from your from the garrison buildings. You can only craft a 75 feast with the cooking profession itself. And I believe that's everything. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.